Do what you need to do. Robbie has to itch her O's. Itch her O's? Itch her nose? But she's too proud. She's too proud.
I'm afraid I have something in my nose.
You guys, as we warned, threatened, told you in the last show.
Hello, everyone.
Robbie ate my bear claw. My swan pie. Not cool, Robbie. Not cool. We have to go to Augie's graduation in approximately 28 minutes. So we're going to dive so quickly into Wonder Undercover that it might...
Here's the thing. Yeah. We had two book sets that we gave as prizes for the school bingo night last night. Yeah. And so I need to sign them and deliver them. So
you sign them while I'm reading Wonder Undercover.
All set up while you read Undercover.
This is going to feel a little perfunctory, you guys, as a show.
We're apologizing in advance.
We're not going to drink water. We're not going to do a theme song. Nope. We're just jumping right into it. I'm sorry. Sometimes.
Hi, everyone.
Wait, who, what, now?
I'm just saying hi, everyone.
Okay. Hi, everyone.
But see, we have to do this part, right? I forgot. Yes.
Guys, we're just going to start reading.
Matthew's jumping into chapter 14.
Because we got to leave you soon. Yes. We don't want to miss you.
We don't want to...
And we are going to miss you.
Yeah.
All right. Chapter 14, Milton's Test Kitchen. The camping trip has just ended. On the way home from Boo Mountain, Hilly and I hatch a plan to make a good weekend even better. Dad calls Hilly's parents, who say, okay, and Emily's dads, who say, no problem. And so we pick up Emily on the way back home. At some point in the long afternoon spent laughing and talking and having the kind of fun you can only have on a sleepover with your two best friends, I realize I've never had two best friends at the same time in my whole entire life. In the morning, I make pancakes. I'm not usually much help in the kitchen, and Dad seems worried that I might burn down the house, but I tell him he doesn't need to worry because girls can do anything. He cooks some bacon to go with the pancakes, and then he goes out to do dad things in the yard, leaving Emily, Hilly, and me to enjoy our perfect day. That's when Milton walks in, wearing his tool belt and chef's hat from the costume box. Enough speculation, he says, holding his tiny finger in the air. To defeat a Dublinger, we must think like a Dublinger. We must do what a Dublinger does. I like where this is going. Please continue, I say. Hilly, would you be willing to walk me through the meringue-making process? Milton asks. Sure, says Hilly. Moxie, would you get everything ready? I get out the mixer, the eggs, and the cream of tartar. First, make sure your bowl is clean and dry, says Hilly. Meringue is very fussy. Milton carefully washes and dries the bowl. Next, separate the whites and the yolks. From 6 eggs, says Hilly, demonstrating with 1 egg to show him how it's done. Milton replicates the technique perfectly on her first try. Of course. Be careful not to get any yolk in the whites, says Hilly. Why is that? Milton is suddenly quite interested. The fats in the yolk keep the proteins in the whites from sticking together, she says. So you can't mix in any yolk with the whites or the meringue won't rise. Maybe that's what's causing problems for Tammy, Emily suggests. But I've watched, and Tammy is incredibly careful, I say. She never gets even a speck of yolk in her bowl. Milton is deep in egg-related thought. Next, we add 1/4 teaspoon of cream of tartar to stabilize the meringue, says Hilly. And then we're ready to turn on the mixer. It says, and then we're ready to turn on the mixer? Asks Milton, who is a sucker for machines of any kind and loves nothing more than turning them on. Yes, but... Whatever Hilly was going to say next is lost as Milton flips the switch, and all of us are instantly bespattered with frantically flung egg whites. Be sure not to turn it on while the speed is set on high, says Hilly, turning off the mixer and wiping the egg from her face. Here, she says, adjusting the speed and turning on the mixer again. Milton barely registers the mess. His brain is focused on the bigger picture, as is mine. If there's nothing wrong with Tammy's eggs, I say, and she definitely doesn't mix any yolks in with her whites, says Milton, then the only possible explanation is, I say. Milton and I lock eyes as he continues. That Tracy is? We share a knowing nod. At the very same moment, we have figured it out. What? Says Hilly. Tell us, Emily insists. And so we do. Dastardly, says Emily. Delightful, says Hilly, testing the consistency of the meringue, which has turned out just fine, even though there's far less of it than we'd originally planned. Nothing is quite as delightful as solving a mystery, I say. and not nearly as scrumptious as solving 2, says Hilly. What about the other Dublinger, says Hilly. Milton takes off his chef's hat and puts on his jacket. I was hoping you'd say that, he says. Grab your map and compass and come with me. We walk to the commons. Show me how orienteering works, says Milton. Hilly shows Milton how to use the map and compass to determine where he is and navigate to specific coordinates. He picks up the concept quickly, but he's having zero luck finding the right spot in the park. Maybe you're reading the map wrong, I say, leaning over. I see from the look on Milton's face that the idea is taking root in his great big brain. He removes the Magnetron 2000 from his tool belt and hands it to me. Moxie, don't take this personally, but could you please go stand by that distant bush for a minute? Please let me know how I could not take that personally. It might help us catch a Dublinger, he says with a grin. I reluctantly oblige. I would eat a burrito full of bumblebees in order to catch a Dublinger. Milton tries again, and this time he navigates easily to the red oak tree. Perfect, says Hilly. Milton should definitely join Wonder Scouts, says Emily. Milton is soaring like the blimp above a football game. Our work here is done, he says. As I hand the Magnetron 2000 back to Milton, I suddenly realize what Tammy has been doing to dupe Tracy. I'm not quite sure how she's doing it, but that should be easy enough to figure out. Simply diabolical, I say, holding up my hand to give Milton a high five. And by taking a bit of a running start and making a mighty leap, he manages to plant his palm flat against mine in a way that is both satisfying and loud. Once again, Hilly and Emily go wild, demanding explanations. I marvel at the evil genius of the Dublingers and the brilliant force for good that is my little brother. When we get back to the house, Milton goes to his room to pore over his collection of local House of History newspaper clippings, and Hilly and I get down to the business of persuading Emily to join the Wonder Scouts, despite the potential medical implications. Milton is amazing, says Emily. He truly is, I say. But do you want to hear something even more amazing? Sure, says Emily. I glance at Hilly. Tell Emily the story of Veronica's compass. But that's a Wonder Scout secret, says Hilly with a worried look. I give Hilly a look of my own. She's messing with the plan. But if Emily is going to join, we'd just be giving her a sneak preview of the story she'll hear eventually, right? Are you really going to join? Asks Hilly. I think so, says Emily. I'd like to. Hilly spends a few more seconds looking worried, but then she gives in and tells it all. The map, the passageway, the riddle, the compass. Emily's eyes are wide. Isn't that incredible? Asks Hilly when she's done. But Emily looks sort of green, which happens sometimes. As much as I love her, she isn't very sturdy. I'm sorry, but I have to go. What's wrong? I'm not feeling well. Amazing. Even just thinking about becoming a Wonder Scout is giving Emily gas. I'll ask Dad to drive you home. Hilly and I help Emily gather her stuff, and we wish her goodbye. On the way out the door, Milton says something to Emily, or Emily says something to Milton, who shakes his head. What did she ask you? I ask Milton when Emily is gone. She wanted to know if I had any clues relating to the local House of History case. Weird, I say. But Milton says nothing. He tugs on his earlobe and watches as Emily follows Dad out to our car. For the rest of the afternoon, Hilly and I have the kind of fun that you can only have with one best friend, which, it turns out, is still pretty great. But even the greatest weekend in the history of weekends has to end eventually. I lie in bed, remembering it fondly, and start thinking ahead to the next one. Suddenly, I have everything I need to solve Tammy's case, and to turn the tables and expose her own thoroughly unsisterly crime. Dum-da-da-dum-dum. Guys, we have 5 chapters left. There are 5 days in next week. We are going to finish this book next week. I'm so excited. Robbie, I need you back. It's time for the live cast show. I'm totally Robbie-less. I'm going to go up to the top here, you guys. That chapter went pretty fast. I'm going to read El Puppy's jokes, unless you want to read them to me, Robbie. Or do you know what? We need to take a break. You need to let me sign those books while you come over here and read jokes to me. What do you think?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Are you close enough to the end that we can do that, or do I need to dance a little bit? Nobody wants that, Robbie. Nobody wants me to dance. Nobody does. Do you guys have any thoughts? Anybody have anything you want to share, you want to ask? This is your time. This is your moment. I've got no agenda. I could show you Robbie's great big space pencil again, but does anybody want to see that either? I don't know.
Yes, everybody wants to see
Robbie, tell me, Robbie. Tell me what's going on over there.
You can now sign these.
I'm going to sign those books. Robbie's going to read me some jokes. We're going to mesmerize you for our few waning moments before we have to go to Augie's graduation.
Beep, boop, beep, boop, beep.
Wait, you put the books in back.
I know, I forgot. I forgot you had to sign.
Look at that.
Okay.
Rude.
Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
From El Puppy.
El Puppy. All right. What?
This is just a statement.
Okay.
Learning how to collect trash wasn't hard.
Robbie, this is the worst pen ever. How did you make it so bright and white, and why is it so bad for me? Is it this one over here instead?
I put it next to a black one.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Okay, sorry.
All right.
Sorry, Tiana. I think that's who that was for.
Yeah, it's terrible. She's going to look at it and say, this author doesn't care about me.
You know, here's the thing. We made the Real McCoy's book, the first book.
But I need that book. I need it.
I'll take this one.
All right.
We made the first Real McCoy's book with dark purple. These are called end papers because they're basically what glues the inside of the book into the rest of the book. So we made them with purple end papers, which makes it very hard to sign. So then you have to use silver Sharpies. Silver Sharpies are the worst.
The worst!
They dry out after
like
2 seconds. We've probably bought about...
like 200 of them.
Yes, several hundred silver Sharpies, and they all die after 5 minutes.
I don't think that's going to happen with Cookie Chronicles. I don't think they're going to have end papers.
Yes, we have said that we will not have end papers.
Let's do the jokes, and then we got to say goodbye to our friends.
Okay.
Hey, tell the children who are watching to get themselves ready.
Children, put your shoes on, get in the car.
Go wait by the front door.
Go wait by the front door.
Okay. Right.
Why are ghosts such bad liars?
Why are they? Because they have a straight face. Because they have no backbone?
No.
Because they have no backbone.
Do you need a backbone to lie? I feel like you kind of don't need a backbone.
Bad liars?
It's the opposite of...
because they're sheets. They're dead. Because they're dead ringers for the truth?
No.
What is it?
Because you can see right through them.
Because you can see right through them.
That's a pretty good one. I've never heard that one before.
That's really good.
What kind of music do balloons hate?
Pop music.
Yes, bravo, very good.
All right.
Next week's theme should be art. Yeah.
Wait, is that it? There were only 2?
There were 3.
What was the third?
You know, we said learning how to collect trash wasn't hard. Oh.
I didn't hear that.
I'm sorry, I didn't say it. I got interrupted. Learning how to collect trash wasn't hard.
Why?
I just picked it up as I went along.
I like it.
That's a good one too.
All right, you guys, this is the Maryland Blue Crab.
Yes.
It's what Robbie wants to eat and can't eat right now because we can't get crabs right now because it's too hard to get them right now. Okay.
What should next week's theme be?
Oh.
Volcanoes or insects?
Gosh. Ugh, why don't we ever think of this in advance?
I know, it's terrible.
I'm not particularly persuaded by either of those.
No?
I guess insects would win to me over volcanoes. Yeah. Volcanoes seems like too small of a category.
I feel like there would be very few things that are fascinatingly interesting. Like you guys, I want to reiterate.
Yeah.
To repeat.
Oh, right.
That what I'm interested in is the tiny bit of weird information about whatever subject it is.
Just one wonderful fact.
Yeah.
As much as we appreciate Abby's extensive research,
it was
one wonderful fact.
The nice thing about Abby's research is that in each of those paragraphs, there was one wonderful fact that we could talk about in each of those. But, yes, generally
That's right.
speaking,
Abby was like 10 different people giving one wonderful fact. So, Abby, kudos. Great job.
But
if some of you are intimidated by research...
it doesn't have to be thorough, extensive research. You could just send me a sentence that's like, did you know
One link, one photo, one anything. Okay. All right, we gotta go. We gotta get
how about
graduate.
Art?
Art?
That's broad and cool. Yeah.
It is.
Let's do
art.
It's gonna be art.
I love it.
Yes.
I'm gonna
be fun.
I'm gonna show you my favorite painting, Monk by the Sea.
Oh.
By is it Caspar David Friedrich William David Caspar David
Friedrich.
Oh, I love it so much.
Yes.
Monk by the Sea.
Okay. Now we're getting late. Okay.
All right. Goodbye. We love you.
Goodbye.
Sorry we have to leave you.
Yes.
Enjoy your weekends.
Oh, where's
you guys are the best. You're the best. You're the best.
Have a good weekend, guys. Yes. We'll see you next week.
Aquaman.